these are the speakers that we have for this this webinar today. So on the left, our esteemed speaker from AWS, Abhinav Gupta, Head of Channels, Data Analytics and ML from AWS itself, Amazon Web Services. So he's going to talk to you about history of AWS, the benefits of AWS, and how can you actually leverage on AWS in your businesses. Myself, yours truly, my name is Kelvin. So I lead the cloud consulting space, especially for AWS, and Sears itself is a very close partner of AWS. And together with me as well, my colleague, Megha Desai, she's the tech lead from Sears, and she will be talking to you about the technical implementation of AWS Personalize. She's from the machine learning and data science department from Sears itself as well. Next slide. Right, this will be the agenda of the topics that we will be covering for this afternoon here in Singapore. So first off, we will be talking about the benefits of choosing AWS for your machine learning journey, the need for personalizing user experience, a quick introduction to Amazon Personalize, using Amazon Personalize in your service, and also, as I've mentioned, a quick and short demonstration of how easy it is for companies to implement and deploy Amazon Personalize service. Right, next slide. So right now, I'll just hand over the time and the screen to Abhinav Gupta, who will take you through from the Amazon Personalized service from AWS. Take it away, Abhinav.
Thank you, Kelvin. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
And am I visible?
Also, you are, yes.
Okay, awesome, cool. Thank you so much, appreciate Kelvin. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are joining from. Folks, my name is Abhinav Gupta, as Kelvin said, so I lead strategy and engagement with partners at Amazon Web Services in the ASEAN region, primarily focusing on analytics and machine learning. And today, today we will be focusing on how personalized service at AWS or Amazon Web Services is helping customers in driving outcomes. And my focus of the presentation is going to be, why do you need personalized service, personalization? How did this service came about, right? And why it's so difficult for customers to start using personalized from what they have been using in the past, right? And how can they leverage AWS personalized service to drive outcomes for the customers? So to begin with, I thought, let's start with, there are a lot of jargons that's been thrown out these days. For example, we hear the term artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, business intelligence, data science, and whatnot. So I thought, let's take a step back and level set on what are these terms are. So what's artificial intelligence or AI? It's any technique that enables computer to mimic human intelligence, or in other words, any system that can replicate tasks that previously required human intelligence. And almost always, this is related to some sort of complex decision-making process where human judgment would be required. And most use cases for AI are looking for a probabilistic outcome, making a prediction, a classification, or a decision with a high degree of certainty, similar to human judgment. Machine learning is a subset of AI, which uses large amounts of data to create and validate decision logic, which we know, which is known as model. The AI system then feeds input data into that model, and model outputs human-like predictions or classifications. So machine learning is the underlying technology that is powering intelligent systems these days. And deep learning is a type of machine learning that uses technique known as deep neural networks. These systems replicate how the human brain functions. And therefore, this lets AI systems to address more complex use cases that was not previously possible, like image or speech recognition. And if you see, the use and reach of machine learning went from being an aspirational technology to mainstream extremely fast. For a very long time, the machine learning technology was limited, or the AI was limited to very few major technology companies and hardcore academic researchers. But then things began to change when cloud computing entered into the mainstream. Compute power and data became more available, and quite literally, machine learning is now making an impact across every industry, whether it's finance, retail, fashion, real estate, and you name it. It's moving from the peripheral to now a core part of every business and industry. So if you look at use cases like document digitization, fraud detection, forecast, you name it, it's now being used in almost every industry. IDC, which is a research firm, estimates that by 2021, global spending on AI and cognitive technologies will exceed $50 billion. And at Amazon, we have been using machine learning for over 20 years, and it has been at the core of how Amazon improves services and drive customer value. So if you look at it, we started using ML machine learning at Amazon.com by applying recommendations 20 years ago. And we have improved that model significantly over time and moved it to other products such as Amazon Prime. We use Amazon machine learning throughout our fulfillment process, including developing a forecast system that can predict the appropriate amount of demand for each product we sell worldwide in order to deliver on our customer expectations on convenience, cost, and delivery speed. We have developed a natural language understanding and text-to-speech technology to give consumers an entirely new way to interact with technology through Alexa. We implemented Just Walk Out technology in Amazon Go stores to provide a seamless grocery shopping experience to our customers. And we have also developed groundbreaking technology with autonomous flight via Prime Air drones, all in service of getting our customers their packages faster. And our goal is not only we at Amazon make use of this technology, but how our customers and other companies can leverage it. And we have a number of AI level services, including personalization. So why personalization? Well, personalization is everywhere. You look across, whether it's Facebook, where you get recommendations and ads, or whether you're watching a TV series, movie, or a documentary on Netflix. What you watch is 80% of the content is based on the recommendation on Netflix and on Amazon, where personalization comes in different forms, right from landing page to recommending items based on what you have in your shopping cart. I don't know how many people know this, that 30% of page views on Amazon are based on recommendations. And 80% of videos and music that you watch and listen on Amazon properties are due to recommendations. So the question is, why does personalization matter to our customers? Because everybody's preference, taste, and needs are different. And our users expect their interaction to be personalized. In addition to that, it has several business benefits. First one is personalization is empirically proven to improve engagement on digital properties. Some of the common metrics that you may be aware of are click-through ratio or CTR, dwell time on articles, watch duration of videos if you're doing a personalization on videos. And all this leads to better engagement of users. It's also a very elegant way for helping customers to discover your tail catalog. So if you have a long tail of items or a large catalog of videos, it's a great way for your customers to discover them. Personalization is also empirically proven to improve conversion, which means drive customers to purchase an item, higher app downloads, more people subscribing to your services because they found the content they like. And above factors that leads to increase in revenue, which I am sure the metric that most of us are interested in. So the business benefits of personalization is fairly obvious, but the path to achieve this benefit may not be so obvious. And in Amazon, we have been doing personalization for a while. And we started way back in 1998 with a very fairly simple custom experience with a goal to make shopping easy, which means improve the discoverability of relevant items in our very large books catalog. So looking at items in your cart, we would recommend similar items. The algorithm powering this, a type of item-to-item collaborative filtering algorithm, has since then become the bedrock of personalization, just not on Amazon.com, but also for many other retail experiences. And from there we started a journey on adding more and more personalizations to all kinds of user experiences. And you can see It's now across all Amazon digital properties, whether it's Amazon Prime, Amazon Video, Kindle, Amazon Music, and it continues to get better. So another thing that is interesting is that personalization is commonly thought in the context of display channels, which is whether on your websites or on your app. It's also a very useful tool when it's delivered over email and notification channels. And after doing personalization for a very long time, we have learned a few things. First thing we learned is that rule-based personalization is easy to get started on, but it's very hard to get good results out of it. So I'll give an example, right, for rule-based personalization. Let's say you are a shoe retailer with an e-commerce website, and you know the gender of the person who is visiting your website. Let's say it's a woman from New York and is visiting in the month of December. So, and let's say you populate your landing page with boots, regardless if the person is interested in boots or not. So it does make some intuitive sense, and it's an okay approach to get started on when you don't have too many users or too many products in your catalog. But as the number of users increases and the number of items in your catalog increases, it becomes hard to define rules which are specific enough to users, to your user segments, to offer meaningful personalization, while at the same time, they are not in conflict with other offers. And the work doesn't stop there. As the human effort in managing rules increases proportionally with scale, and the performance does not keep up. We know this because we have tried this at Amazon. And almost all experiences and experiments, machine learning-based personalization does better than human-created ones. So machine learning does work better, but it's also not straightforward. Naive machine learning models does not perform very well, and you do need to sort out several challenges that exist. First one is the good recommendation system should respond to the intent of the user in real time, rather than have pre-computed recommendations. It should also handle scenarios of recommending items to users who are new to your website. We call it a cold start user scenario and new item scenario. Cold start user and item handling is easy for a rule-based system, but not so much for a machine learning system. Second, recommendations should not fall for a popularity trap, which means it's easy to build a naive model which recommends mostly popular items. But it's hard to build a model which shows relevant recommendations from non-popular items. Unlike some other applications of machine learning, there is no master algorithm to solve all various scenarios in personalization. And therefore, this makes the field interesting, but also challenging, because you have to experiment with several techniques. And finally, even though personalization is ML 101, building a good personalization model is hard. And we have found that ML data science experts are needed for building good models. The combination of these challenges means that most customers stick to rule-based personalization, or worse, don't do personalizations at all. And that's a big missed opportunity that we see when we talk to our customers. And therefore, we thought it would make sense for us to bring the experience to customers in the form of personalized service. So what is personalized service? So as I mentioned to you, it's a technology that we have brought into our customers after 20 years of experience doing Amazon personalization at Amazon.com. The best part is it reduced time it gets to get started with personalization to weeks from typical more than 6 months for such projects. The technology behind Personalize is well tested for performance and scale. Personalize uses deep learning sequence model, which greatly improve upon the baseline matrix factorization algorithms commonly deployed by most of our customers that we talk to. Personalize can be used by all developers and does not need ML expertise, which is one of the biggest bottlenecks that we have seen our customers when they want to use this service or they want to deploy personalization in their websites. And the best part is your models are private to you and only used for generating recommendation for your users. So if you look at it, it's fairly easy to get started on, right? And you will hear more from my colleagues from Sears, more in details of how this service can really bring to life. So to start with, you require three kinds of data sets which are relevant for Personalize. The first one is called user interactions. What are the users clicking on? What are they purchasing? And what are they watching? This has the strongest signal for personalization and is the only data set that's compulsory. The other two are optional, which is inventory or known as catalog. So it's details about your items, item IDs, price, category, genre, if you're doing a books, type, etc. If you're doing a video recommendation, and it's genre of your videos, cost of the video, duration of the videos, and whatnot. And then finally, the user metadata. It's details about your user, age, gender, location. And you can add this optional information, which is especially useful for cold start scenarios. So once you get this data in, it's a very simple to get a trained personalized model in personalized service. And then run recommendations using our real-time API. The entire process above can be completed with 5 API calls. The model trained are custom to you and they are private to you. And the whole purpose of bringing this is to delight our customers and improve your customer experience. So with personalized service, you can deliver high quality recommendations, adapt to changes in customer intent in real time, which is very, very important. You can train a model that is custom to you with few clicks. And most importantly, you can personalize any content or any product that you have in mind. And we have several referenceable customers who are using Amazon Personalized service today. And these are some of them who are referenceable. And I would like to share some of the case studies as well. So I'll start with Lotte Mart. I don't know how many people have heard of the name of Lotte Mart. It's a subsidiary of Lotte conglomerate, which is a leading retail company in Korea. It operates hypermart, members-only warehouse, discount outlet, electronics digital shop, and Toys R Us store in Korea. It has over 187 stores in Korea, Indonesia, and Vietnam, with an over of 6.3 billion revenue in 2018-19. So the company decided to adopt Amazon Personalize to significantly improve the quality of its recommendations. So they ran a trial of Amazon Personalize last year with 100,000 customers. And they discovered that customers were twice likely to purchase recommended product that came from Amazon Personalize. And as a result of that experiment, now they have launched to over 600,000 users who are using M-Coupon, which is their proprietary mobile coupon system, which will give benefit from improved recommendations and a personalized shopping experience, from which Lotte Mart expects to see tremendous positive revenue impact. Another one that is common brand is Subway. The Subway, as you all know, is a restaurant chain, offers guests in over 100 countries, quality ingredients and flavor combinations, with nearly 7 million made-to-order sandwiches created daily. So at Subway, they use Amazon Personalize to quickly deliver personalized recommendations for the endless varieties of ingredients and flavors to fit the unique lifestyles of the busy guests. They have already successfully tested using Personalize to provide recommendations to guests making orders from their mobile app, and are excited to expand into personalized app notifications. Another use case, which is for Dominos, is, as you all know, it's one of the largest pizza chain in the world. So in Australia, they're working to deliver personalized promotions and notifications to their customers via digital channels, including their popular or mobile app. So they use Amazon Personalized to predict purchasing behavior and leverage those predictions to deliver customer campaigns through Endpoint. So these are some of the customer examples that have launched. They have been using Personalized for over a year and have got tremendous value and benefit. So with that, I'll pass on the control to Calvin, who leads cloud consulting practice at CS. As Calvin mentioned, CS is AWS Advanced Consulting Partner with deep experience in analytics and machine learning, and they have helped a number of our customers in the ASEAN region in analytics journey. So Calvin, over to you, buddy.
Thank you so much, Abhinav. So just let me take over control. And thank you so much again for the kind words.
Sure, most welcome.
Okay, I'm just presenting my screen right now, just making sure that everyone can see my screen, yeah? Okay, great. So I'll just like to bring about and talk a little bit about the current landscape today. And we all know, right, the effects of this current pandemic and what are the impacts that is having and upending the entire world. Really, right now, it's an unprecedented time, causing lots of challenges around the world. But we see a huge increase in online spend for specific goods. And I will share later on what are the goods that are really doing well and some not so. There is a tectonic shift in consumers' buying behaviors as well, and also the patterns, all right? And many a times, right, a lot of retailers today, they scramble to meet the needs and the demands of these consumers. A lot of them are actually caught unaware. They don't know where to do. They don't know where to start. Okay, so how can these retailers and marketeers adapt to the new norm and take their companies forward? As I mentioned earlier in the previous slide, so there are some changing dynamics in terms of online spending. But I think what is headline here is that the e-commerce consumer sales have ballooned to more than 52.2% worldwide. All right, this is an aggregated data, but I believe that it mirrors and reflects a lot of different regions as well. As you can also see from this chart on the left, the medical essentials are leading the chart, followed by the rest of the goods that's listed over here. I, for one, am guilty of buying online as well. Who else in the audience as well? I'm sure many of us actually bought items, whether is it necessities or something just to splurge and pamper ourselves during this period of a COVID-19 pandemic. Whereas on the other tail end of the spectrum, you can see that the travel accessories, the travel related products are not doing that well, right? And this slide actually tells you that the revenue and the conversion rate is growing in tandem. There is a huge spike when the world went into lockdown. And even more so, right, you can look at that the conversion rate is usually in line with the revenues. But today, a lot of people, a lot of first-timer, a lot of consumers actually don't even browse before committing the transaction. They just proceed and go ahead and they just buy the things that they want or things that they might delight them. So now, really, how can the e-commerce players cope? Now is the time really for the e-commerce players to act, okay, and act fast if they have not already started. And over here, AWS can see us, and Sears can help you in this journey. Because we all know if you do not transform at this period of time, it's very hard to play catch up. And for those of you who have a technology advantage, you should press on as well. We can tell that with the increase in spending, there are increased opportunities as well, but also therein lies increased competition. So with the increase in competition, how do you companies set yourselves apart from the rest of the people in the playing field? Right. So why AWS Personalize, right? So these are very typical use cases from companies out there. I want to push discount coupons to visitors who are undecided. You know, people are browsing the website or they are looking at and whether putting on a shopping cart or, you know, pretty undecided. How do you push, you know, discount coupons and urge them and nudge them to do the conversion? I want to target visitors who react to scarcity as well and to push them a message of urgency. You know, how often when you have websites that's counting down the number of stocks that is remaining, that it also, you know, pushes them a message of urgency and telling them to buy. So especially in today's context, where we are in a period of lockdowns, you know, many countries are in second or third waves on infections. Therein lies the physical stores, right? In a physical store, you have a sales assistant who is able to observe, understand the customer's buying intent. Whereas in a digital onset, in a digital world, how do you do that, right? So actually that's where Amazon Personalize can come in and help you with that. And really, the chief aim of Amazon Personalize is to solve a goal, is to allow the customer to reach their end goal, right? So we start with the customers first, we work backwards, earn their trust, and then hopefully they can become advocates of your particular brands. So from the why, right, how AWS personalization does it. So earlier on, Abhinav has mentioned, they actually leverage a lot on deep learning algorithms. For example, Jaccard similarity, item-based collaborative filtering, recency and frequency, multi-arm bandits, so on and so forth. So these are the jargons that's used by the data scientists everywhere to create these training programs. And God knows, right, how many of these data scientists are within AWS themselves, trying to tweak and train these models to give the results that the consumer wants. And who better than AWS, who has already implemented these algorithms in their website, in their Amazon Go physical stores as well. Now it really allows us, the layman and the companies, big or small, to leverage upon machine learning precision to remove human errors and bias. And not only that, it allows us to do this at scale. You're not only trying to guess and trying to segment your customers, 1 customer or 10 customers, right? You are actually leveraging on AWS personalization to do this at scale automatically for you. And one of the other key value proposition of Personalize over here is really to free employees time to do more value-added service. For example, to create and test new copy and offers, to dream of the next big campaign, and ultimately it's to enrich the customer's experience in a more connected fashion. So where do we go from here, right? Sears as your preferred partner, we are able to help customers along whichever stage they are currently at in their journey to build their capabilities, to understand, right, in terms of by doing a technology and capability assessment, find out where the gaps are and to make sure we fill the gaps. And not only that, okay, we will work very closely with the companies out there to understand and to learn from their needs and to make sure that the design and the technology that's being implemented grows and scale together with your company's needs. All right. We have a proven and tested framework to help clients in their personalization journey. As I mentioned, we talk about the technology assessment. We also talk about by bringing in a very consultative approach to the companies as well. We will talk to the companies, get their buy-in from their project champions, project sponsors, and get everybody aligned in your data-centric customer strategy. All right. So right now, I will hand the time over to my colleague, Mega, who will take you through some of the technical details of AWS personalization service and show you a short demonstration as well. Over to you, Mega.
Sure. Thank you so much, Kevin. So, hi everyone present on the call. Myself, Megha, and I'm technical lead for machine learning and data science at Sears. And so we'll go through a bit deep into the technical details, and we'll see how actually Amazon Personalize works and how easy it is to provide recommendations in real time or either in batch time. So, Kelvin, let me share my screen. I hope everyone can see my screen. So let's talk first about the use cases, like how Amazon Personalize, caters the different use cases. So the very first use case we have is the user personalization. User personalization, as the name suggests, it provides the recommendation based on a particular user's purchase history, their pattern of behavior, their taste, and the choices they make during the interaction with the application. So, for example, let's say here Prime Video example, where there is a section called Prime TV shows the videos or the movies that we think that you will like. So this is completely based on a particular user's choice. For me, this line of movies or the recommendations will be different, and for you, it will be different. The next use case that Amazon Personalize handles is similar items. So how it works is when you select a particular product or movie or video, anything. So based on this product that you have selected, Amazon Personalize internally checks the items or similar products to that. And based on that, you will get the list of other products in the suggestion or in the recommendations. So, for example, in Amazon.com, generally when we shop, we have a separate section for it where it says that customers who viewed a particular product, they also viewed the other products. So this is how the similar item works. When I check on, let's say, for a mobile phone, then I will get a similar item recommendation based on mobile phone cover, let's say earphones, battery pack, so all other similar items to the product which I am currently viewing. And the last use case which it handles is the personalized ranking. So again, it is based on a particular customer's pattern of behavior and their interaction with the application. But here you will have the list of recommendations and you will get a ranked product inside that recommendation. So based on that, you can have in your recommendation top 5, top 10, or top 25 products based on the requirement. So these are the use cases which Personalize caters. Now next up we have how actually Amazon Personalize works. What will be the pipeline or what will be the architecture? So from user perspective, who is using the Personalize console or the AWS console, we only have to provide a proper data set, and that's it. Rest of the things will be taken care by Amazon Personalize. So you have to upload your data set. Let's say you have the data in Amazon S3 bucket or any other storage service. And from that, you can upload that data set into Amazon Personalize. Personalize now performs 3 different steps. So there is an option where you can actually select manually your particular algorithm that you want to run. Like based on your data set, if you want to run a particular neural network based algorithm to train the model, you can select that. But let's say if you do not have that kind of knowledge, don't worry. Amazon Personalize takes care for that as well. So you just have to select AutoML option, and Amazon Personalize automatically selects the best possible algorithm based on the data set you just provided. So that is also taken care by Amazon Personalize. Now that you have selected the algorithm or the recipe in Amazon Personalize, the model will get trained on this particular algorithm. So the training is also happening on the Personalize platform. And once that model is trained, you will evaluate its performance, like based on the criteria or the success criteria that you have decided, you will see how good the model is performing. And based on that, you can deploy a particular solution version or the model that is trained. So this entire thing is taken care by Amazon Personalize. Now, once the model is deployed, it is ready to make recommendations and ready to provide recommendations. So what you have to do is you just have to infer the model in your application or on your servers based on let's say Amazon EC2 or Amazon Lambda or any other service which best suits a particular use case. So you just have to infer the model and the model will provide the recommendations. Either here also the option provided is either you can get recommendations in real time or either in batch time. And this is how you can deliver the recommendations same to your customers as well. Now, next up, we have how we should structure the data. So Abhinav, spoke a little bit about it, where you have to structure a data in different 3 data sets. So user interaction data set, as he mentioned, it's nothing but a historical data or the interaction data between user and item. Then in item metadata, you collate all the details for the metadata related to item, its price, its quantity, its availability, all the metadata that you can think of. And the user metadata. So regarding the same item, we have other metadata features for users as well, like their age, their gender, or their locality, geographic location, etc. Whatever the metadata that you have. So as he mentioned that user interaction is the compulsory data set to be provided. Rest are not compulsory, but it is meant to be said that when we have more and robust metadata, the model will give better results. So this is how we should structure the data before feeding data into Amazon Personalize. Now, next up, we have some example schemas related to how and which parameters we should provide. So as I mentioned in user interaction, we have to provide the interaction data along with the timestamp. So at what particular time a particular user, which is the user ID, is interacting with a particular item, which is item ID. So all these three fields are quite important and necessary to understand for Amazon Personalize and train the model. For user schema, user ID is field is only required. Let's say you do not have other metadata, then it is also okay. But if you have, you can add in the displayed manner. Now for similarly item schema, we have two fields which are required. One is the item ID and another is the timestamp. So here, at what particular time that item was being interacted is quite important. And other features like availability, price, genre, all other metadata related features can be added as well. Now, if we talk about the data ingestion process into Amazon Personalize, like how Amazon Personalize, takes care of historical data as well as real-time data. So this is one of the major benefits that Amazon Personalize provides. So if we talk about, first of all, historical or offline data, so as we just discussed, all the different data sets we have, or the data, whatever data we have, we will store it into Amazon S3 bucket. And directly from S3, there is a provision to load data into Personalize. So this is the historical data which will be used for the training. Now for the real-time data, again, Amazon Personalize provides different SDKs like JavaScript SDKs or server SDKs, which you can use to integrate in your application and record the event data which is coming live from your application. So let's say a particular user is coming to your application or your website and it's clicking different products or going through the product catalogs, then you can store that event data and use into the Amazon Personalize here again. And both this real-time data and historical data will be used in the training part. So this will give more recent kind of recommendations because it has incorporated the recent interactions of website and user as well. So this is one of the major benefits. Now, if we talk about a bit technical details about the recipes or the algorithms which Amazon Personalize provides. So here is, as per the table, as you can see, based on the use case, Personalize takes care of different types of recipes or the algorithms. So the very first use case that we have is the user personalization. So user personalization, as I mentioned, it provides a personalized recommendation. And for the different recipes, we first have HRNN. It is hierarchical recurrent neural network. So it uses neural network backend in the personalized algorithm and provides the recommendation. So next is HRNN metadata. So it's a bit add-on to the HRNN basic algorithm, where I mentioned that if you have a good and robust metadata, you should definitely use that metadata. And HRNN metadata algorithm will provide good and better accuracy with respect to HRNN if we have more metadata. Then we have HRNN cold start. So as Abhinav mentioned, like cold start is one of the major problems which retailers or e-commerce websites or application face these days. Because from business aspect, they generally tend to add more and more new products very frequently. And while training the model or while giving the recommendations, those new products are generally being ignored. And this is called the cold start problem. So from starting, the new products are not being catered properly. So to avoid such situation and help avoid this particular issue, Amazon Personalize provides HRNN cold start algorithm as well, which takes care of the new products which is coming. It provides more kind of which and gives the better recommendations. And the last, we have the popularity count. So popularity count is a generic heuristic-based algorithm where based on a particular product's popularity, which is its frequency of buying, frequency of viewing, and how popular that item during the application is. So based on that, it will provide the rank and it will provide the recommendations. Next particular use case we have is the personalized ranking. So here the algorithm is also called personalized ranking, and internally, as I mentioned, it will rank the list of recommended products. Let's say you have top 20 or top 5 products, and it will rank based on the weightage and the parameters which are internally calculated. For the last, which is the similar items use case, the algorithm or the recipe is called SIMS. It is also known as item to item similarity. So internally, based on the product that you have selected, it will find out all the list of products which are similar to that product, and you will recommend those products. So these are all predefined recipes. You just have to select those recipes, and the rest will be done by Amazon Personalize. I will show you how it will be done on the demo. So yes, so now next up, once you have selected the algorithm, either predefined or on your own, next is we have to train it. So the train model, which gives the final recommendations, it is called the solution version. So this terminology is used by Amazon Personalize. And this particular solution version is making sure that you have the optimal kind of recommendations during the training and while providing the recommendations in real time. And once you are satisfied with the trained model and the solution version, you can create the campaign, and then you can shoot out the campaigns. So campaign is similar to what we generally, terminology we use in marketing, like we focus the particular customers and users, and we do the marketing campaign. Similarly, we have the campaign created here, where you can deploy your solution version, which you have selected or which you have trained currently. And once it is successfully done, you will get a particular ARN, which is Amazon Resource Name. And you can make use of that ARN and make real-time recommendations or the batch recommendations. Now we are speaking about real-time and batch. Like, what are these recommendations and how this pipeline will look like? So first of all, for the batch recommendation deployment, this is how the pipeline will look like on the Amazon cloud. Now, for the first, as we spoke, the data should be in Amazon S3. The data will be fed into Amazon Personalize. The model will be trained on Personalize. Now here, the batch recommendation does not require recommendations in real time. You do not want every second, like, the recommendations are coming. So for those kind of use cases of business process where you generally do not introduce more items to your catalog, or product catalog is static for some period of time, this particular batch recommendation is the best possible deployment. So once we have the recommendations ready, it will be stored again in Amazon S3 bucket. And from that bucket, you can inference those recommendations that is stored using, let's say, Amazon Lambda or Amazon EC2 service, and you can deliver those recommendations. So this is how the entire batch recommendation deployment will look like. Now, if we talk about the real-time recommendation, it's a bit tricky here because we have to use the real-time data coming from the website or your application and make use of it in the training as well. So this real-time data event here, it is going for the training part. As I mentioned, you can record this events which user is coming to your application and make use of that as well. And when user is coming to your application in the backend, you can make request for the recommendation. And through your web server, you can pass on the request to Amazon Personalize to inference a particular model which is deployed or trained on Personalize. And in return, you will get the recommendations coming from Personalize and serve those recommendations through your server to the application and your browser to the user. So this entire thing happens very quickly and close to real time. So this is how the deployment architecture would look like for real-time recommendation as well. So now let me quickly show you the demo, like how easy it is to provide recommendations using Amazon Personalize. You do not require any prior machine learning knowledge, and I will show you. We have provided actually the real-time recommendations. So I'll show you how the pipeline will also look like. So here's the console of Amazon Personalize. When you have your Amazon account, AWS account, you will get this particular console or dashboard for Personalize. On the console, you see that there is an architecture diagram of how it works. It has listed down its features and benefits along with the use cases that we just discussed. Also, you can see that there is a information for pricing, like how it works. So it's a pay-as-you-go service. And along with that, you have the documentation link. Here you can see that there is an option for new dataset group to create. So if you're coming for the first time, it will be create dataset group. So I have already created, so it is showing me view dataset group. When I click on this, you'll see that I have, so all the list dataset groups that I have created will be listed. And along with that, there is a learning content and links available and the feature spotlight links. So all the updates related to this Amazon Personalize will be given right here. Let me show you how we create dataset group. So I have clicked on that, and I will provide, first you have to provide the name of the dataset group. So it's test dataset group per se. And then I click on next. and I will be redirected to the screen where I have to give the user interaction data. So this particular data set is quite important and compulsory to provide. So user to item interaction is compulsory. So again, here you have to provide the data set name, and then you have to select the schema. So I'm giving test user item interaction, and you have to select the schema. Either you can choose from existing or you can create your own. So if I have chosen from existing, I will be listed down all the schemas that I have already with me and provided the sample set of schema. You can create your own as well. You just have to make sure the required parameters. Now I'm clicking to next. So now my entire data set is created. Now I have to load the data from my S3 bucket. So I have to again provide the dataset import name, job name, and then you have to provide a necessary role here. So a IAM role is important. Make sure it has Amazon S3 access. And here in data, we have to provide the location for S3 bucket where you have your dataset. So for this particular demo, we have taken, from Kaggle and e-commerce dataset, which has the indirect data for user and item. So I'll be inferencing. I will be using that data. So you can provide the path. So I have already created the data set. So let me show you how it turns out. So I'm clicking on the Brazilian data set demo, and now I'm on the dashboard. Now I'm clicking on the view data set. Here you can see whatever the data sets that I have given. So here you'll see that I have created only user item interaction because it is compulsory. Other than that, as we spoke earlier, as we mentioned earlier, user and item is also important. So if you want to create, you can thus select either user or item and start importing the data. But for my particular use case, it is not required. So I have not loaded that data. So once it is done, you can check its status, its ARN, and the import job, which uses the data to be fetched from S3 bucket. And here is the finalized schema. So as I mentioned, the data set that you have created, so we have user item interaction, then the item and user. Based on the particular use case, you can select what kind of data set that you want, and based on that, you can create that data set as well. Now here, as I said, you can select either use item or user or item, and then you can click on this particular jobs that are getting imported. And here you can find you can see the schema also. So whatever the schema that you have given, either from existing schema or from your custom schema, you can choose that schema and you can show the finalized schema. Now for the event trackers, which is nothing but your fetching the real-time data from your application. So currently my use case does not require the real-time data, but let's say for your application you have to track this particular details. So I will give the name of the tracker, let's say test event tracker. And then in the next, I will be redirected to this particular SDK documentation where Personalize provides JavaScript SDK and server APIs. So you can follow through that steps, and you have to make a few tweaks into that and provide the necessary, configuration details. And this is how you can track and use that event interaction data as well. Now next comes the solutions and the recipe. So here is the main important part, because this is where the model is getting trained. You can have multiple solutions created. You can have multiple recipes to be used in the solutions. So as you can see, I have listed down all the, tried out all the solutions. And so let me try to create one for you. So if I create a particular solution, so I have to provide name first. And then from the recipe selection, I have to choose a particular recipe. So as I mentioned, for similar item use case, SIMS is the perfect one, right? So I use the SIMS particular AWS SIMS recipe. And then there are other optional parameters as well. But I would recommend to use such parameters because that will definitely enhance the performance of your models. So these additional parameters are nothing but the hyperparameters, which you have to optimize it. So it's just a toggle. It's only one click and it will automatically optimize the parameters. Once you have toggled the particular parameter, you will see that multiple parameters, multiple attributes are given, and you can provide the numbers and probably some of the values to the attributes based on your expertise. Then you can select, or either you can have it by default as well. And if you do next, then you will see that the particular solution created successfully. And let me show you one solution that I created, which is SIMS recommendations, how it got trained and what is the evaluation parameters for it. So here you can see that I have performed the hyperparameter optimization, so it is true. I have not performed AutoML because I know that AWS Sims is my particular recipe. And then the solution version is created, particular version ID is there. And here I have created the campaign as well. So I want to use this particular solution to be, my finalized campaign recommendation. And I will be inferencing this particular model and this particular solution in my recommendations. So now if I go into the solution versioning, I'll see that there are multiple parameters or the metrics that is given by Personalize. So these are all the parameters which generally a recommendation engine is evaluated on. So all these parameters are quite important, like precision is the relevant recommendations that you get, then coverage is the number of unique recommendations that you get each time. So all these parameters you can evaluate based on the requirement. And also you can see the tuned hyperparameters, which was done during the training. So now we have finalized the campaign, and I'll go through the campaign details. Yes, so I have created the campaign, and here, as you see, I mentioned earlier, right? We will get the ARN, as Amazon resource name, and I will make use of this ARN and get the recommendations. Here, there is an option to get recommendations and test your recommendations locally. So there is no pipeline involved here. You can provide item ID, and if filter created, you can get recommendations. So let me show you how I have provided the API endpoint for the real-time recommendation as well. So here the last option is for batch inference job. Batch inference job is for getting batch time recommendations. So it will not be real time, it will get results after some particular time. So again, you have to provide the name and the necessary service role, then the solution selection, that is Sims recommendation, and then the number of results that I want. So by default, it will be 25, you can change it. Here, as I mentioned, input and output will always be bucket. So S3 path need to be provided from where the data will be, fed, and to the data will be, or the recommendations will be stored. And this is how you can create your inference job. But for currently, demo, I have given the real-time recommendation. I have created an API endpoint, which is now like ready to use and ready to integrate with your application. So I have used another service, which is AWS Lambda. And it's a very small function kind of a thing that I have done, where I have made a call to get recommendations API and given the campaign ARN, as you can see. So, and using this particular request, I will now test out in Postman collection. So this is my Postman, and this is my API that I have created. And in the request, I have given item. And now what my requirement is that given the item, I would require the similar items. Let's say top 25. And I'm sending the request, and here it is. Within milliseconds, a few milliseconds, I am getting top 25 similar product or similar item IDs based on the item ID I have given. So this is how easy it is to provide recommendations in real time with Amazon Personalize. So now, how SEOs can help you with this, and where SEOs come into this particular picture. So let me hand over to Kelvin again, and he will, walk us through where SEOs will help you with Amazon Personalize.
All right, so thank you so much, Megha, for walking us through the entire process of implementing AWS personalization. And I think as the audience, as you can tell, right, you can really see that it's fairly simple, to deploy AWS personalization service and to implement it within your companies. And not to worry as well, how can SEOs help you in this, as we have experience and rich experience in doing data analytics and also lots of personalization projects together with AWS already. So we definitely have the expertise and experience to walk you through and identify the key success metrics and make sure that you come out of this successful as well. Right, then we'll call it a day. That's the end of this webinar. Thank you very much. As what Abhinav mentioned, if you have any queries, anything that you might want to discuss with us, do feel free to reach out to us.